Hi everyone, welcome to my conversations with BlueGod. I'm Michelangelo, so that's why this channel is called Michelangelo's Conversations with BlueGod. Oh, so what did I ask in the last video? Do I need to tell the people at the East Indian village that I just tested positive for COVID since I recently visited them? I had visited them, I think, a few days before. And so, what does BlueGod answer? Yes! It is your responsibility to warn the people you recently came into contact with. By the time you visited them, you already had your sense of scent and taste back, and so you were no longer contagious. But it is still your responsibility to tell them that your test just came back positive. It is your choice as to whether to tell people or not why you got tested. If you do not feel comfortable, you do not need to share that you got tested, that you get tested regularly because you work with groups. Ooh la la. So I wrote. Oh no, I did write. BlueGod continues with, you never need to reveal to others intimate aspects of your life that you are not comfortable with when it does not concern them directly. But the larger picture reveals something different. At the I am you, you are me oneness level, anytime anyone has any kind of reservation, who are you hiding from and what are you really hiding? That's the ultimate question, really. Who are we really hiding from if we're all interconnected and we're all one mind? And what are we really hiding? Because there's always going to be layers and layers of BS, of belief system, of limiting belief system unconsciously. And so you always have to ask the question behind the question of what are we really hiding? What is really behind our fears? You are hiding from yourself. Always pay attention and notice if there is some shame. Notice if you feel unaccomplished. Notice when you feel unrecognized, as is so often the case for you. You feel unrecognized by others because you do not recognize yourself. He told me. You feel unrecognized by others because you do not recognize yourself. You feel that you have very little external support because you do not believe in yourself. He told me again. You always feel like there is more that you need to learn before you can really put yourself out there. Yeah, there is more you still need to prove. You are still playing the proving game. That is what keeps you stuck. You keep focusing on the fact that you do not feel recognized and validated by others. That is why you are not losing weight. That is why you are not earning a lot more money. That is why you don't have a partner. You are trying to prove that you can do it all on your own and that you are worthy. You were made to feel that you were unworthy of external validation. And sadly, you believed it. You are unworthy of external validation because you are gay. You are unworthy of external validation because you are spiritual. You are unworthy of external validation because you are Canadian, even. These are all seen as weak and unworthy of great praise. You were made to feel unequal, lesser, not as powerful, and even weak. You never believed it about yourself, but you believed that others would see you in this way. By your mom. Yes, she really shamed you for dedicating your life to spirituality. And of course, she wanted grandkids, and you knew this very well. She didn't even know you were gay. She wanted you to have a traditional and very stable job so that you could be much more settled and secure in the traditional sense. Of course, it was a shock when she found out. Security is her main preoccupation. It is actually an obsession for her. How could she understand what you do when she is so preoccupied and actually pathologically obsessed with the most basic and primal of needs, the need for security? You are at the other extreme. Do you realize how difficult a challenge you have set yourself up when you decided that you will make it your mission to have her understand and support you? This is more difficult than your blue movement mission, your real mission to transform and liberate all of humanity. How ironic and convenient for ego darkness. It found your Achilles heel and has played you and kept you stuck in a loop for so long. You are so stubborn and adamant about convincing your mom that you gave up everything, even your blue dream to make me manifest on earth, you put as a second priority and not your first. Your primal wish to want that your mother accepts you is real. But even bigger than this, you want to fight back and rebel for her shaming and stifling you. Hers was an unconscious tactic that was indeed damaging to you and even cruel, but the cruelty came from ego darkness forces that took over her. She was never doing this consciously. Ego darkness knew your weakness all along because it is one of the most primal weaknesses of all humans. Ego darkness found a way to instill shame in you. She was the messenger. Ego darkness used her. But all you knew is that this deep and destructive shame came from her. On some levels, you now hate her for it and have wanted to get back at her ever since. The way to get back to her is to prove that she is wrong. You want her to admit that she shamed you for something that she was wrong about in the first place. This is where your approach is all wrong. First, she will not admit that she shamed you because she is terrified for what she has done. She knows deep in her gut that there is something beyond her control that took over her. She cannot really grasp it, but she knows that her fears control her. Admitting that she shamed you in a mean and destructive way would create too much cognitive dissonance for her. She will be terrified at the notion of having lost control, and so she would have to first accept that she is mentally ill. For this for her means that she is crazy and has lost control of her mind. This is the last thing she is ready to admit because it would jeopardize her control, the very most important thing that she is still grasping onto. You see how deep of a mess this is for her? You have no chance of changing her until she decides to change, if she even ever does. So you have made yourself and your victory completely dependent on her. You have decided that the quickest way for you to feel outwardly recognized depends on whether or not she awakens from her nightmare. And so you have placed all your efforts on making her realize this. It is a ridiculous position to have put yourself in. Even if she would admit that she shamed you and that her approach was inappropriate and insensitive, you still want her to believe that stability does not come from the external material world. You want her to believe what you know to be true, but in order for this to happen, she would have to totally reverse her most solid belief. You have set yourself up for the largest trap possible. Not only have you set yourself up, but you have minimized everything else so that you could focus mostly on this. Sleep on it, and when you are ready, let it all go. I will take it from you when you are ready to surrender it to me. You will not need to prove anything to anyone ever again. Know this, and you will know everything. You have been blessed with a deep understanding of life's liberating truths. Focus on them and on sharing them with those in the world who are ready to hear your words of truth, healing, and salvation. There are millions who are starving for what you have to offer. You have left them waiting for way too long. I'm just going to end right here.